Hello, my name is Jennifer, and welcome to the client renovation of part 15 of my Homeless Decorator Challenge. And if you're checking this out for the first time, I recommend going to check out part 15 to see me interviewing the client and to see whether or not they liked it. And as usual, I am removing everything from the house. I'm starting with the things that are on or attached to the parent objects to make sure that they end up sold and not in my Sims family inventory, and also not there for me to use for the budget for the house. So this is a level renovation, and since this house is one level, that means it's a house renovation. We renovate the whole inside of the house. And the house itself had no living room. It does have an area out the back, which is kind of like a gaming area, but like there was a love seat. There's 4 people in the house. You can see the likes, dislikes on the screen that we got from the client, though that actually was after we finagled them and got them to change their likes and dislikes a little bit. Because when I interviewed the client, Gunter didn't like gray and he didn't like farmhouse decor, but he liked painting. But Wolfgang liked gray, so that was a problem. Not liking gray is actually not that good either, because gray is in a lot of things. Liking gray would have been good, but the other 2 things that were disliked in terms of decor was suburban contempo and French country. So even though that doesn't show on there, I still consider that and will filter to make sure that the objects I'm not taking are those things or gray. And the color purple was actually through a lot of, even is through changing their opinion on things. And even the decor style there is they like basic, so I do use that, but that wasn't actually in the original likes. That was through me getting them to change it. So Wolfgang and Lucas shared a room, but I ended up giving Lucas, who's the child, this room over here, which used to be his mom's room. And they all end up with their own small bathrooms, where the house was only one big bathroom that they all shared. And as I had commented, there's a lot of wasted space in hallways in this house. Hallways going nowhere. There was nothing at the end of them. So I did change that up, and you can see where later I'll do the open floor plan for the living room that they end up with, the kitchen and dining area. So this is his little bathroom off of here. And to start with, I am using a lot of basics. You can see that filter. I don't for the shower because of where it is. It would look odd to have a closed shower, but I change it later. But that toilet is actually quite expensive. So when you're doing 5 bathrooms, because I did 1 bathroom for each and then 1 bathroom that was accessed for not from a bedroom, it's really expensive and it adds up. So I end up going back later and changing the bathrooms because I run out of money. I wouldn't be able to finish the renovation if I'd use those toilets. I don't know if I maybe leave them in these 2 rooms, but I definitely change it out of Lucas's room. But we shall see. So purple was the color. And it was quite funny because I think that was one of those where they didn't like purple, they liked purple, they didn't like green, and then they liked purple when I tried to get them to change their mind about the color. So finally I'm like, okay, I'll accept purple, even though it wouldn't be my favorite choice for doing a whole house with. So the one fun thing about using purple is sometimes the colors that were said to be purple. Here I'm just trying to avoid gray. So I don't actually use purple all the time. But I do use it for some pieces, but it's kind of hard to tell sometimes because I think it's just part of it. And the other color is like there are other colors in it. It did get classified as purple because it had a little bit of purple in it. And I did give her a little rocking chair in her room. So here I am doing the kitchen, which I don't know that it really is that much smaller than what they originally had, and they have more counters in the end than what they had. There used to be a door off the kitchen, which was now Mila's room, so I ended up moving a door off of like the central, living area, and that's why I moved that garbage can over there so that they could easily get to it. And yeah, I think I end up off camera changing the color of a couple of the appliances just to get them to match a little bit more. But because I couldn't use gray, that's why I kind of went with that coppery looking sink and whatnot. And even the counters, I think a lot of counters had gray in it. And that might have been basic. I wasn't really paying that close attention. But yeah, I do a lot of looking to make sure that it's not the things that you can't see there, but that were on their dislikes. So that couch is considered to have, both of those are considered to be purple because I think they have purple cushions on it, but they're not really that purple. So they do add a slightly different color. It's not like it ends up being like a purple, fully purple house. So that wall covering is purple, but it's sort of a deep plum, I think. So I think it works. And I do end up off camera taking that fireplace and putting it up on a platform with some stone, and I also put a stone wall behind, I think that whole length of it, which you'll see in the screenshots or the slideshow, which I actually didn't have a slideshow in the video itself. So if you're coming from that, there was no screen show because the game did not do that. But because sometimes it can be a bit glitchy, but I had saved close enough to when it was finished. I think it was actually just before, luckily. I recommend you do that just in case you have glitches. So I was able to recover back and go in and essentially do the reveal again. I had to actually I didn't take it after I had taken the screenshot, so I had to get the screenshots again. And that time it actually worked, which I only did to just get the screen show. That's it. It's like just go in there, get the screenshots, and then I quit. And that was all I needed was that. So this is the room that was Lucas and Wolfgang's and ends up being Wolfgang's room. So I think he ends up with the biggest bedroom because it was a pretty big room because they were like, it was kind of divvied down the middle and they each had half of it. And now he ends up with it all to his lonesome. But this bathroom's a bit smaller because of the fact that it was just not as big to split up between the two. I did toy with like making them be kind of a Jack and Jill where they shared it, but it's kind of long and narrow, and I just was like, just give them their own bathroom and we'll get the money from somewhere by essentially taking the toilets from the other, downgrading them to cheaper toilets. And, when they have so many bathrooms in the house, I think it was fine. And some of the decor I used in there was pretty expensive, so I end up getting rid of that too, so that I can give it to the others. Now, of course, Gunter needs the desk the most because he's a writer. So I had to make sure he had a computer because he did have a computer and he did have a desk initially. And he had really expensive bookcases, which I took away from him and gave him these cheap ones. I think that's where I was maybe debating about whether I should just, I don't know if I think I was thinking again whether I should just make that one bathroom just because, of course, plumbing is expensive in the game and in real life. So it makes sense. But like I said, I downgraded the toilets and the showers. The sink wasn't actually that expensive, so I left it as it was. And then I get rid of one of his chairs. Like just trying to come up with some money somewhere. And I can't remember if I got rid of his guitar there or not, but I know I do end up getting rid of it. And it turns out that the room out the back has a guitar in it already. And someone liked media production. And since I knew Gunter liked painting, I thought, well, maybe it's Wolfgang. But then he was like, who knows who it is? So I initially put that in Wolfgang's room, but I end up putting it out the back in the little, games area, which I do let them keep. And I change up what I did with Lucas's bathroom here, where I actually stick a little wall because I was going to put it there, but I didn't want it because the window's there and I didn't really want to change it. I mean, I know I changed some of the windows in a little bit, but it's still sort of in keeping with that, how the house is. So I thought it was okay. And so I put the shower there with the wall because, of course, it would be coming out. So I want to have a wall for it to be doing there. And I always like to have a radio and a TV in the living room. So that's what I was trying to do. And I think in the end, I may not show this, but I do end up putting, I'm pretty sure, a wall speaker up. So here we're doing this back room, which I was like done. And I was like, oh, look at this. Oh, those things on that wall are really expensive. We can use that money to like do a couple more things in the house, which I maybe didn't show. But because this took me over 2 hours that recorded time to do this, and then it took a little bit off camera that I did because I was just playing around a little bit. But I think anything really major I did here, I do show it. And that area is dark back there because that actually has no ceiling above it. So I do end up realizing that and fixing it at some point. I kind of wanted the wall behind to be different I think only the one. You can see it outside. That's because of the, you know, the glitchiness of this space, which I do end up, like I said, fixing. I give him this piano instead, checking to make sure that it's not gray, even though he likes gray. But, you know, the problem is you're not doing it just for one sim. You have to do it for every sim. It doesn't matter whose room it is or anything like that. So, which, you know, in reality wouldn't be the case. So it's a little bit silly. And I end up this is gray flooring outside. So I'm like, oh, I should change that. And then the fence, I don't know if I show it, but the fencing, not the hedging fencing, but the other is also one of the types of decor that they don't like. So I end up changing it to like a fence that's from Journey to Batu, because it was the one that seemed the closest look. Because you can see that the wall is different behind the fireplace there. It's that rock, which I don't think is considered gray when I look. So some things that you might think were gray are actually not considered gray. So anyways, here I'm taking everything out to fix that room, and I knew it would go into the family inventory and therefore disappear until my sim got home. And anyways, here are our before and after shots that you're only going to see here because of the fact that the game glitched and didn't show it. And the order that it shows is the order that the game decides to show it. Essentially the order of how I took the before picture. So even though I tried to pick them out of order of how they were taken, the game went, this is the order that they're here, and that's going to come first. It did still match up with my after pictures that I chose, but yeah. So some of them, you could see there were like some walls, and those were actual walls. And other times I used my little trick where I forgot to take a before picture and I took a picture of the ceiling. Like that is a picture of the ceiling because I didn't get the pictures. Because of course the angles are completely different because I completely changed the floor plan of this house. And I actually saved it to my library because I think I might use this version after I add a chimney to it for in my various saves, because it's a little bit more functional than the house that they were living in. Let me know if you have had to renovate the Munch's house before and what you did with it. I'd really like to know. But that is going to be it for this renovation video. Leave a like if you like the video. It really helps with the algorithms. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!